back with another audition advice video, and today we're talking all about casting types. I know that that topic can be very scary and intimidating, but it's very important, so we're gonna make it as painless and fun and easy as possible. So let's talk about casting types. Let's talk about what they are, how they can help you, and how to determine yours. We got lots to cover, so let's get into it. Also, if this is your first time seeing my face, hi, my name is Kat. I really like musicals. If you really like musicals, hit subscribe to join the musical theater internet cult. Thanks to Backstage for sponsoring today's video. We'll hear more from them in a sec, but first, I want to hear from you. What's your casting type, or what do you think your casting type might be? Share it in the comments down below. So everyone has a casting type. Even if you're brand new to acting, you still have a casting type. That doesn't mean that every character you play will be the same or that you're stuck in the same limited roles of what you can play forever. It just means that your personality, the way that you're perceived, and the way you present yourself all are factors in casting. So casting types aren't meant to feel rigid or confining. They're meant to help you streamline your process so that you can set yourself up for the best chance of success. It'll help you determine what your headshots should look like, what type of roles you should be auditioning for, what type of audition material you should use. So what is a casting type? A casting type is a combo of the 5 main characteristics that you'll find in character breakdowns for auditions. Those 5 are age range, gender, looks, personality, and interestingly, job title. We'll come back to that one. Your age range is the range of ages that you can realistically portray. It's probably around a 10-ish year bubble, including your actual current present age. Usually 5 years younger, 5 years older. If you're a younger actor, your age range might be even smaller, maybe around 5 years. It all depends on the way you're perceived. Your gender identity and the way you present yourself. If you're non-binary, trans, male, female, pretty self-explanatory. Next is your look or physicality, basically like how you are. Your height, your body, your face, your hair. The composition of your features and how they interact with each other. Keep in mind that the way that you dress and style yourself can have a huge impact on appearance. Personality, not saying that like if you're nice, you're only going to play nice guy roles. By personality, I mean the vibe you give off. The little quirks that make you, you. Like, what's your first impression? Do you come off really smart or really sexy or really intimidating or really welcoming? That sort of thing. And finally, job title. Who is your character and what do they do? Are they a mom, a mayor, a maid? This also includes status, like are you the head cheerleader or the loner new kid? When you're trying to figure out your casting type, don't worry so much about the specific exact job titles. They can be interchangeable, but it's more about what they represent. Let's say you're playing moms and teachers and best friends. Those characters all read as trustworthy and kind. If you're playing like the mayor or the boss of a company, the patriarch of a community, a detective, that all gives authority figure. I've always known this section as like status or hierarchy, but calling it job title is a new one for me, and that's because I learned it from today's sponsor. Oh, sorry, I didn't see you there. I was just scrolling through Backstage, the easiest way to find your next audition. They're also the sponsor of today's video, which is convenient. With Backstage, you can submit self-tapes, find in-person auditions, and so much more. From short films to theater to features to modeling to voiceover to everything in between. Backstage is perfect for all artists at every stage of their journey. From student filmmakers all the way to industry leaders like Disney, HBO, Netflix, and more. With work-from-home opportunities to worldwide casting calls, Backstage can take you anywhere. And you can take Backstage anywhere with their mobile app. You can scroll through casting calls and apply to auditions on the go, all from the convenience of your smartphone. Let's take a look at some listings. We've got Americatronic, searching talent from New York, feature film, comedy, horror, non-union, really nice pay. Wait, this looks really funny. I'm gonna send this to my friends in New York. Mountain King, another comedy horror feature film. Again, nice pay. That looks really fun too. I love a good horror comedy. I feel like they're making a really big comeback. We've got The Lantern, which is a short film horror thriller, not a comedy. Couple of good roles in here. I'm also going to send this one to my friends. So if you want to check out these or any other auditions, download the Backstage app today. You can click the link down below or search for Backstage in your mobile app store. Just download the app, sign up for Backstage, and get auditioning. Thank you so much to Backstage for sponsoring this segment, and thank you guys for checking out our sponsors. And now, back to the video. So let's talk about how to figure out your casting type. First off, really take into account and make peace with the things you cannot change, like your height, your body, your voice cast type, you can get a haircut, they can put you in a wig, but it's gonna be much tougher to shrink 3 inches or suddenly become a baritone. I kind of mentioned this earlier, but the way that you style your outfits and what you wear can have a huge impact on how you're perceived. Let's say you want to lean into your type and you want to appear more quirky. Glasses, a new hairstyle, or a new hair color can all help achieve that. If you're auditioning for musicals, definitely take your singing voice into account, your vocal part. And for all actors, definitely think about your speaking voice. That's absolutely part of how you're perceived. One really good starting point is to look at your resume and see if there are any patterns. What type of roles do you tend to get cast as? Or what type of roles do you tend to get called back for? Do you see a pattern of playing bossy little sisters or like the cool, alluring bad boy? Check out your resume for a peek on how people perceive you. Trying to figure out your casting type is definitely an exercise in putting your feelings aside and trying to not take it personally. It's weird because in a way you do objectively have to look at and compare yourself, but you have to do it in a way that's constructive, to make observations without judgment. How do you fit into a group of people? What sort of role do you usually fulfill? It can be hard to try to think about your casting type in a vacuum, but if you have something else to compare it against, it can be a little bit easier. It's like you're at the optometrist and they're testing your eyesight and they're going number 1, number 2, number 1, number 2. There's no right answer, it's just about finding what fits you the best. Another classic piece of advice that people use to figure out their casting types is, what actor do you look like? Who's your celebrity doppelganger? I don't find that helpful at all. If you do have a celebrity doppelganger, that's great, that's an excellent starting point. But so many celebs nowadays have such unattainable looks and they're held to insane beauty standards that sometimes it's hard to find actors that actually look like you. So sometimes I find it more helpful to think about individual features or facial structure. For instance, I'm short. I have very distinct eyebrows. I have a small nose. Something I find really helpful is thinking in terms of archetypes, like in movies or books. So whatever show or movie you're watching next, look at the characters and ask yourself, who could you play? Who do you look like? Who do you act like? How and where would you fit into this ensemble? Some people opt to ask their family and friends to describe them, like how would you describe me to a stranger? That can be helpful, but I also would take that with a grain of salt because these people know you, they love you, they hang out with you. We're looking for first impression vibes. So some people opt to ask their fellow actors. If you were forced to play hero, villain, victim in an acting class, you may be entitled to financial compensation. If you've never played that game, good. It's when you go around the room and your classmates verbally say aloud who's hot and who's funny looking. It does not end well. You know, I get it. Typecasting has this weird, negative, scary feeling often attached to it. Maybe you're afraid to hear how people really perceive you. Like you thought you were giving girl next door, but turns out everyone sees you as the lab geek. The fear that you're not enough to be an actor. It's hard and it's weird. A lot of people think that you have to be insanely hot to be a successful actor, and that's just untrue. Yes, there are definitely certain roles that usually go to conventionally attractive people, but not every character. In fact, I think that oftentimes leaning into what makes you unique helps you in your career. Rather than conforming to beauty standards and disappearing into a crowd, rediscover your unique beauty and lean into what makes you different to help you stand out. Any teens or kids watching or parents of teens or kids, don't stress too much about casting types. Kids are constantly growing. Plus, if they're doing like kids theater or summer camp and they get pigeonholed into a type of role they don't like, don't worry about it. Don't stress. Their casting type isn't matronly. They're 12. They just happen to be probably taller and more mature appearing than the other students who audition. And getting typecast isn't a bad thing at all. In fact, in the working world, that's great because that means that you're so good and so convincing in that type of role that it just makes sense to keep on bringing you back. You're so good at it that they want to keep choosing you. So try to frame it as a compliment. And also please know that you are not defined by your casting type. You are not your casting type in real life. It's not a critique of you or how you act or how you exist in your real life. It's just for a part you're playing. I'll use myself as an example. Growing up, I played a bunch of romantic leads and ingenues. I think I had something like 20 onstage kisses before I ever had a real first kiss. So don't worry about it. People are multifaceted, unique, complex beings. It's impossible to reduce them down into a single archetype. Don't take it personally. You are beautiful, you are talented, and I'm rooting for you. However, those are just some of my thoughts. I want to hear from you. What do you think about casting types? Any tips or advice to share? Let us know in the comments down below. Again, huge thank you to Backstage for sponsoring this video. Click that link down below or search for Backstage in your mobile app store. If you're new here, hit subscribe, join the musical theater internet cult. I hope you're having a great day. I love you so, so much. Break a leg, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!